Before you thread a new bobbin, you should always check if there is a bobbin that already has the color that you want, because this will save having duplicate colors and create a lot more empty bobbins for other people to use. We're going to start by talking about how to wind a bobbin. So here's our little empty bobbin. You should only ever wind thread onto an empty bobbin. You can see there's a little bit of black under this red bobbin, and they got really tangled in each other, and I actually had to cut both colors off. So if you need an empty bobbin, please just pick one that doesn't have a lot of thread left on it and unwind the rest of it. The rest of the machine actually still stitches as normal while the bobbin is running, so we do this to avoid things getting tangled. The first thing we're going to do is actually remove the main thread that runs through the machine usually. Instead, we're going to place thread onto this thread rod up here. That's how we're going to wind the bobbin. So we're going to grab the end of this thread here. We're going to pull it through the one like we're threading the machine as normal. But then instead of going to the two, we're going to come down to this knob. It has a little picture under it that's going to show us how we're going to wrap the thread. So we're going to come down in front of it and loop away from us. Then we're going to take our bobbin, and you'll notice it has two little holes on the top and bottom. And you're going to take the thread and slide it through the hole from the inside going toward the outside so that your bobbin is now attached. And while still pinching that end, you're going to take your bobbin and slide it onto the little knob and push it over so that it's up against the little white piece over here. Once it's on, you're just going to keep pinching that thread end and start lightly pressing on the presser foot. If you drop the end like I did here, just stop so you can grab it again. You don't need to hold the end the whole time, you just need to hold it until it's pretty secure on its own, and then you can just let the bobbin continue to wind itself. Once your thread is right up against that white piece, you will know that your bobbin is fully wound. The first thing that you're going to do is push it back away from that edge and pull it up off. And then we're going to cut the bobbin off the main spool of thread. When we do this, we want to leave 2 or 3 inches of space so that we have a tail to thread our bobbin. The last thing that you need to do before putting the bobbin in the machine is to trim this little end thread here. This is what we use to thread it, but it actually can get caught in other machinery, so we're just going to snip it so that our bobbin will be ready for use. And now you would be ready to thread it, in which case you can go watch that video. Sewing machines can work with a variety of different platforms. Here's an example of one. All these platforms serve different purposes, so we're going to talk about what they're used for and how to switch them. This first one is the really large platform. It's really good for big projects and leaning on. To switch it, you're just going to grab it and slide out. It should make a little click noise. And you can see this one actually has legs on the bottom of it. That can be really useful for balancing out the weight. You also have the option to sew with no platform on. This can be super helpful when you're doing tighter hems and things that are circular, because you can slide it in there instead of needing a platform. The last platform option is this one. This is the standard one. It's good for most projects unless you need the additional space. To attach it, you'll just slide it right on until it clicks. Changing your machine foot is actually super simple, so I decided to combine these two into one section. So to change your machine foot, what you're going to do is reach behind and locate this little lever and then just push it in. That will free your foot down here. As you can see, it's loose. They have this little bar, and that's what allows them to grab back on. So to put it back on, we're just going to pick it up with both hands and then line the little bar up with the little gap in the arm. Press the lever in and lift the foot up so that it grabs. You can see it's not going anywhere. Switching needles is a little bit trickier, but still not difficult. You're going to find this little flat screw piece up here and start unscrewing it. Don't unscrew it all the way, just until it's loose enough to slide out. You don't want it to drop into the machine because it can cause damage to the components. To put it back in, we're basically going to do the same thing in reverse. So looking at our needle, there's a flat side and a curved side. The flat side should be facing towards the back when you slide it back up in. And then all we're going to do is screw that little flat piece back on. You don't want to do it so that it's super tight. It just needs to be tight enough that the needle's not going to fall out. There's no need to crank it super tight. You can see it's not coming out. And now you should be good to sew.